This is Halston. Halston is a musician, but more importantly, a huge fucking fan. And he's been listening this entire time with bated breath. Halston, what questions didn't I ask that you think I should have asked?
Okay, you guys got into some really good vocal stuff, and like I just want to dive a little deeper into that because I was in a metal band at one point as a frontman myself, and we opened up for Soulfly. The only thing I wanted to know was what was Max's warm-up? Like someone who screams for over 2 decades, is there a scream warm-up? Because I know there's warm-ups for regular singing, but when I was doing both, it's like, it's so different. And it's like, sometimes you don't want to warm that scream up because you don't want to like ruin it before the show. Like, I want to know about that. Do you have a scream warm-up?
I have a slight warm-up that I do. I don't do an overt warm-up because it's my assumption that if you over warm up, you lose a certain tone in your voice and you will thin it out. And that's why I think a lot of people who they over warm up, like for like an hour, they come on stage and their voice sounds thin, you know? So for me, all I do is basically, the first thing I do is find out how my voice is feeling. If I'm sick, I have a whole different thing that I go to where I drink lemon juice and honey, warm that up, and then I have a certain warm up that goes with that. If I'm doing okay, then I do a couple different things where I go. Now you have to excuse me because I've been singing for like 5 days because I just got done doing a bunch of CMF2 demos and in a studio. But I have a certain way I scream where I can kind of slide into it. So it's almost like a like that, and you slide up into it. So you're using the very top of your vocal cords, but it doesn't sound like that kind of inward scream that a lot of people do. Mine has a little more like girth to it. So I go, and then I go, and then I go on stage, and that's it. Like,
have you ever opened your mouth and nothing came out?
Oh yeah, I've had to cancel 4 shows in my whole life, and it was because I couldn't make a sound. The last time I had canceled like that was, I want to say it was 2006. It was in Berlin with Stone Sour actually, and we were on the Come Whatever May tour, and they had just stacked me with a lot of shows. And if I wasn't doing shows, I was doing TV shows over there. So I had real no days off. It was what they call non-show days, which is such horse shit, you know? And so I got to Berlin. It was one of the biggest shows on the tour. And I literally couldn't make a sound. Like, I mean, and I to this day, I can't believe I did this. I took a fucking finger of Vaseline and stuck it down my throat to see if that would work, and it didn't. And I was just like, well, I'm all out of ideas. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. And for real, I was like, I had to cancel. We had to cancel that night, and luckily I had 2 days off after that. So between those 3 days, I didn't talk at all. It was total vocal rest, and just basically sat in my hotel room and in total silence and talked to everybody on email. That's how I communicated. And then on the 4th day, I was able to, kind of finish the tour off. But yeah, it was fucking crazy, man.
So you haven't had any vocal surgeries at all?
No. The closest I got bit on the top of my head by a spider. And it threw, it was fucking crazy. We stayed at this like super sketchy fucking hotel in New Mexico, right? And I mean, there was so much weird shit. We were trying to save money. It was like a whole fucking thing. There was so much weird shit going on in the fucking hotel room that I fairly certain I got bit in the night. And I woke up, didn't realize I'd been bit because I got bit in my sleep. And it was so gross in that room, I went and slept on the bus. I was like, I'm fucking gone. I'd rather sleep in my bunk than in this gnarly hotel room. And from that moment on, I was having vocal issues. And I went to a doctor, got scoped, my left vocal cord had swollen up about the size of my thumb. I mean, it was gnarly. And I was trying different things and couldn't fucking figure out what the hell was going on. And then I went to a doctor in Denver because I had a rash on the top of my head. It was about this long, dude, and it felt like a fucking mountain range. Like, it was insane. He goes, "Oh, you got bit by a fucking spider." And I went, "What? The fuck kind of spider?" He's just like, "I don't know, but it was gnarly." He's like, "You're very lucky to be okay right now." Gave me antibiotics, and the swelling went down, and like my whole leg was in, like, so my lymph nodes were like gnarly. As soon as he gave me the antibiotics, it all went away. Insane.
Crazy.
Go ahead, Bert. Okay. Yeah, when I opened up for Max, like, all he did was he sprayed some Entertainer's Secret in his throat.
Right.
Took a sip of Coca-Cola.
You bought that for me when I lost my voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to do vocal stuff, warm-ups. That's a story for another day.
Well, I tell you what, there's a speaking warm-up that you can actually do. And it actually starts with a sort of ohm sound, like almost like a chant, where you kind of and you develop this sound that you're speaking, and you're basically pushing the sound against the top of your mouth, and you're using like about this much of your vocal cords. And it's a great way to not only take the stress off talking, but also to kind of warm up, like to basically go do what they call, sorting out the phlegm, is how they used to say it, like back in the day. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's my problem is like phlegm accumulated on the back of my vocal cords and getting it off of it. And the other thing is I don't think I breathe and talk right. I think I breathe and talk wrong. Yeah. It could be the way that could come back to how you're talking as well. There's a lot of people, when they talk from the very back of their vocal cords, and you can hear the tonal difference between this and this. And that's because you change it, and it's almost like you're pushing the sound against the top of your mouth. Dude, that's crazy. Keep going, Halston. Anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, let's not make a meal out of it.
I'm not going to be that crazy fan that you run into.
No, because there are fans of mine that are listening to this going, Bert really dropped the fucking ball in this interview, man. Talking to fucking Corey motherfucking Taylor, bro.
No, dude, you did fucking awesome. Black Eyes Blue, does that mean you want her to heal you?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now that song is actually about my wife.
Ask that.
Yeah. She's my third wife, which my first two. I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but my second relationship, my second marriage was really gnarly. It was really hard on me. It fucked me up in a lot of ways. And so I was kind of going through this like crazy, like rediscovery moment in my life, like for probably about a year, man, like close to a year. And that was right around the time she and I met. We started like talking. We didn't start dating until after we like started, like we worked together, because she opened a tour for me on with Stone Sour with her dance troupe, the Cherry Bombs. When that happened, like she and I like we like hit it off, and then we were just, once that tour ended, we started dating, and we've just been inseparable ever since. And my wife is the kind of person, and this is an absolute compliment, that she can be in any situation and enjoy herself. I have never seen anything like it. Like she's just so light and happy and wide open, man. She's one of the most fun people to watch drink. She's one of the most fun people to like hang out with, because I don't drink, but she has her wine and shit, and she's just so smooth and funny. She's fucking so funny, right? And we were in London together, and she'd never been to London. I've been a million times. And, you hit that moment in your travels where it's just like, yeah, fucking, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
You're defining me and my family right now. Keep going.
She lights up, man. She's just like, we're going to fucking go do this. And I felt myself almost against my will becoming so stoked about going and doing and me kind of forgetting like how awesome it is that I get to do this, you know, and get to see the world and experience and go to see these museums and these places, and especially in the UK, which is like my favorite country in the world, like of everywhere.
Yeah.
And so that was the inspiration for this song was, you know, her taking that darkness in me and really helping me let go of it. You know, all this really bitter anger that I've had from, you know, from the past, call it 8 years, and letting go of that and really seeing how wonderful life can be if you let go of some of that shit. So it's making my black eyes come back to blue, you know? And yeah, it's probably one of my favorite songs I ever wrote.
That's so beautiful, man. I mean, and it's one of those simple lyrics too, where I was like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? Like it's so good. I got like 2 more statements and 1 question. Okay. So volume 3 has no curse words in it?
No. I say Jesus, but that's it. No, it was such a big fuck you to everybody who said I couldn't write lyrics without cursing. I mean, that's the whole reason I did it. It's because everybody's like, oh, typical Corey Taylor fashion, you know, they're profanity-laced fucking blah, blah. And I went, really? All right, motherfucker, check this out. And the whole album, there's not one. The closest I come is the Christian curse, basically, you know? But, you know, I don't give a fuck about that.
Well, it was like a huge hit too. So like, what an awesome fuck you.
Exactly.
And dude, House of Golden Bones Part 1 and 2 is the best concept album since Operation Mindcrime.
Come on, dude. That's okay. Now that's huge because that fucking album is ridiculous. Like that's not so much the second one, but the first one is amazing. Well, dude, I appreciate that, man. Fuck, thank you.
I can't get enough. I can listen to it every single day. So last thing, I was trying to explain to my girlfriend metal and Slipknot.
Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah. She was trying to explain to me Gossip Girl.
You're going to lose me. And I'm just warning you now, you're going to lose me because I don't know if I can. Yeah.
we both just couldn't understand each other.
Okay.
Could you explain metal and what metal means to metalheads to a Valley girl?
Yeah. Metal to a metalhead. I mean, the only thing that can really put it in perspective is metal to a metalhead is as important as the best selfie on Instagram to a Valley girl. You know, like it's that constant search for the angle. You know, the little puffy, you know, getting the sun right, the background. Oh shit, that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Look at that motherfucker. You know, like that's what metal is to us, is that perfect riff, that perfect solo, that perfect blast. And then it just breaks down hard with a fucking halftime. You're just like, oh, and your fucking head explodes, you know? That's probably the only gateway that I can even try and find that bridge, you know, of understanding, you know? Because I'm assuming she takes a lot of selfies.
She's not one of those people, but she just doesn't.
She watches Gossip Girl. There's got to be something in her.
Yeah, she's 24. Like, I was just telling her that it's a space where these angsty people can go, where nothing else gives that to them. And there's something called scream therapy too.
Right.
Oh, we did it in the cabin.
Yeah, you guys did it in the cabin.
Yeah,
and it's that too. It's therapy. It's healing. And she's like, well, you're angry? I'm like, no, I'm not angry because of this.
Right.
This is why I'm not angry, because I fucking get it out. Right. I get it out of my body. And that's what that is. Yeah. And yeah, I just wanted to know what your take on that was. Like, how would you explain Slipknot to?
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, it's so hard to explain to someone what I call inert anger, which is I used to call it the Irish. You know, my Irish is getting up just because being Irish and German, you're just kind of born angry. You know, really nothing specific to be fucking pissed about. You're just double trouble where you're just, you know, there's things that happen to you in life that encourage that and make it grow. But because of that music, it can even you out and it can allow you to function. It can allow you to kind of get your shit together. It can allow you to understand and have empathy for other people instead of being locked, because people who don't have that and have those issues get so locked in self-pity sometimes, self-emulation. Like they can't get past that fucking ball of shit that's right here, you know? And because of that, those are the people who really take a turn for the worse. And people who don't live in a state of kind of like just idling anger can't understand that just because we're hanging and chilling doesn't mean that there's something that I need to just fucking get out, you know? And they also, the flip side of that is that they can't understand why, if I am angry, why aren't I just angry all the time? It's like, well, it's not a switch. It's triggered. But by listening to music and having the outlet, you can keep that shit at bay.
Is it hard to go to that place sometimes when you're on the road? Because you kind of have to bring it back because people fucking won't believe you.
I have it. It's very easy for me to tap into. To be honest. I remember every shitty thing that ever fucking happened to me. Like, and I mean, everyone. It's a blessing and a curse, to be honest. You know, it helps me be able to kind of empathize with other people's issues, but it also allows me to be able to put things in perspective and write about modern issues that I have. You know, like I'm obviously not going to write about being a teenager when I'm almost 50. That would be fucking shit, you know, but I understand the type of anger that comes from that, you know, and even though it's a more mature anger, it's still that kind of, you know, that urge to just fucking, you know, lose your fucking shit. So that helps me keep my writing honest, and also it helps me keep it not current, but relatable, basically, you know? And because of that, that means that there's a straight line between everything I write now and everything that I've ever written, you know? And that helps me, it makes it easier. Like if you're all over the place and you don't relate to these things that you write, then it's harder to kind of find that headspace, you know? But for me, it's a straight fucking line. I can get right back to where I was on this day, on that day, on this moment, what this song is about. And that kind of recall it's exhausting, but it's also, it fills the tank enough that when you're on stage with that kind of show, you just, fucking come down on it, you know?
That speaks to exactly what you guys were talking about earlier. You guys were talking about how so many people are gravitated towards you and like,
right.
They are just stuck like glue to you, and you weren't really sure why, but it is that line. It's the line that's rooted in honesty. And
that makes sense. Yeah.
If you were not honest, these people wouldn't believe you and they wouldn't be able to get their own shit out from your shit because
that's a good fucking point, man. Like and it makes sense because, and it makes sense to the fact that why we're still here, because it's, you know, my methods haven't changed. My message hasn't changed. You know, it's all about being yourself in this thing. You know, it may not look like you, but it is you. And people can feel that.
And
you guys, when you were talking about that, I kept going to myself. What's beautiful about music is there are so many different genres, and people can just very easily go, oh, I'm not into metal. I'm more into hip hop, or I'm not into hip hop. I like folk music.
Right.
What stinks about comedy is everyone there aren't a ton of genres. You've got like sketch and stand up and movies, and people assume because they like to laugh that they can get all comedy, and then they can just go, oh, your comedy sucks. And you're like, well, no, there should be genres, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a good point, man. You know, I mean, and that's, again, one of the reasons why what you guys do is so hard. I mean, and when it's done right, which like you, Bill, Tom, it's fucking awesome, you know? And as a fan, I hope you know we all appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Bro.
Dude,
don't give me, you have no idea how much I appreciate fucking Slipknot on a treadmill. Dude, I'm sitting there murdering it. And I'm like, fuck, man. I wonder how skinny I would have been if I'd been listening to Slipknot the entire fucking pandemic.
As skinny as me.
As skinny as Halston.
Dude, that's it. Dude, well, you know what? As a comedy fan and a Slipknot fan, you guys can't speak to this because you're in it. You're too close to it. I'm a fan for the exact same reasons. I can pop on a comedy special at night when I'm at my lowest, when I'm at my darkest, and I can laugh. I can have a place to put my head right before I go to sleep so I don't wake up angry or depressed. I can pop on a Slipknot song and scream it out in my car and listen to Nero Forte and fucking drive fast, dude. That song makes me want to drive so fast. And it's the exact same thing. And for that, I thank you both.
Wow. Hey, it's a great way to end an episode, Halston.
Pretty rad.
Dude, I got to tell you, man, Corey, thank you so much for doing this. This has been a blast. I really,
my pleasure, man.
I can't tell you how cool it is for you to hop on for as long too. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. So
look, hey, man, I've just been putting off cleaning my house, so it's fine. It's all.
and I can't wait till things loosen back up and I'm back in Vegas and we get to hang.
Dude, yeah, man, fucking hit me up anytime. We'll come down. We will hang. Fucking hard hangs. Absolutely.
I'm a lot cooler than Bill in my green room.
Well, there you go.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Hey, stay safe.
Take it easy, guys.
See ya.
Later.